Welcome to this episode of Rebelle Revealed. We are getting there. Our house is almost finished, but we're not near the end yet. We still need to do the windows and the window frames, the pavement and the roof. In this episode, I'm gonna paint the windows and the window frames, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna approach this. A lot of the painting is ready already, but we're gonna work on the windows now and the window frames. What I've done, perhaps if you notice here, I've renamed my layers, at least the most important ones, so that I know where I'm going. Now, for the frames, the window frames, I'm going to add a layer above the bricks. So add a new layer, and I'm going to call this the window frames. There you go, window frames. All right. Now, for the window frames, I can go a few directions. I could just start painting with the watercolor, but then it's going to flow everywhere like that has done where I don't want it to go. What I want is a little bit more control. Now, to get more control, you could either do a layer mask on everything you're not going to paint, but that's going to take a while. So instead, I'm going to pause the engine so that the paint is not going to run where I don't want it to run, but stays where it is. And I dry it every time so that I won't get in trouble. The next thing is I, of course, need some colors. Now, if I bring back the photo, there's actually two colors, or perhaps three colors. We have that beige color around here, and there's this white color, and then you have that same beige there, slightly darker, but the darker parts we're just going to fix later on with the light and shadow. So I'm going to do two colors, a beige and a white. Now, a beige I do have, that is this color actually here. But a white I don't have, so I need to create a white, but I'm going to do that later on from the beige. So I'm starting with the beige colors. So actually the inside of the window frames, the door, that is beige. Now I'm not going to paint everything because that will take a long time. I'm going just back to that window frame and I'm going to show you what I'm going to paint. For painting, I'm going to use the watercolor liner brush so that I can put as much paint in one go as I want. And the paint is not running too much. It's actually staying in a nice line. I've got my settings on 16, the size, the opacity is 100, the water is 50, and the length, just ignore it. I want to do something which watercolor can't do. I'm actually going to use this paint and blend brush so that I can blend in the colors nicely. And I don't, because if I use this one, then if I put down some paint like this, and I rest for a minute and put down the next one, you know what's going to happen. You're going to put on that next layer. I don't want that. I want it to mix and blend a little bit as if I put it down in one go. And then it just makes it easier to stop and lift my pen. See, and now I get a nice blend right away instead of the layer on layer. I'm going to do that the same here. And there we go. And now, since I'm above the brick layer, I'm going to paint over that nicely, and that is gone now, the brick. I'm going to use the same color for this, and I'm definitely going to use the same color for this. I'm sticking to that liner. We technically could switch brushes for this, but this goes just as quick. There you go. Let's see, we'll go there. Now I'm going for a darker layer on this one. And that one too, a bit darker than the rest. There you go. Let's see, we need this one. Blend that a little bit, the edge. Do that a little bit there too. Need some color under here. And now I need these parts. Blend in a little bit, and if there is some color difference. It's not a huge difference if some spots are slightly darker than others. That's okay. All right. Well, that goes fairly quick, doesn't it? Because that's the nice thing about the liner. It puts down a nice strong paint, and that's that window frame. Now on top of here, I'm gonna use an eraser. I might actually do a separate layer. Now let's keep on going. Let's put another layer on it for the white. Now we could also use the white of the paper, but if you decide later on to change your paper color, then the white of the paper will of course change too into whatever color you're going to pick if you like a different color better. So I'm going to actually paint that. I think I'm okay with this, a little bit there, and blend that in a little bit. And I've gone outside a little bit too much there, so I might correct my mistake. There we go. And under there, I'm gonna check the photo. That is probably just bricks with shadow. Yeah, so I don't have to paint that. I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, that would be the first part. The second part is, so I'm gonna put another layer on it. I'm gonna rename that. Double tap on it, and now you can type whatever you need to type. I'm gonna say water. Why? I'm gonna say water is window. Window frames. White. There you go. Can't read that, but I know the top one is a different color. Now I'm going to my color wheel. There's my color wheel, and I'm going to move it to the top. Not all the way to the white. That is very bright, so I'm going to go a little bit off white. Let's see if I... Oh, it moved. No. Stay where you need to stay. Pick my mouse for that. There we go. Bit more accurate than the pen, actually. Yeah, that's good. See, I got a nice white, but it's not a white, it's a slight off-white. Right, and I'm going to paint all the window frames with this color. But making sure I'm not going on the color I already put there, of course. All right. And I want to make sure I'm not going over the bricks, but I do get rid of that brick color. So I'm not pressing too hard with my pen. Then I get a thick line, and I don't want that. I want to have slightly, a little bit of control over my line width. All right, blend that in a little bit. A little bit better there. Around here, I need a very small brush. 10, would that be okay? Yeah, that would be okay. All right, that's that. Get the eraser. So I'm not picking the eraser up here, I'm just picking the eraser with the brush. That works for this one fine too. All right, and I think that looks good. Now the windows themselves need some color, so I'm going back to the photo, and probably because there's the blinds in it, we're not going to see much of that color, but I would say it reflects the sky a little bit. So let's just go for that. I don't have the blinds in it. I'm just going for only windows. So under the window frames, so I need the actual windows. So I'm adding a new frame layer, calling that windows. I'm picking the color that is this white here, that is a light blue color, and I'm going to get a different brush for that, just a regular round brush. Make it indeed slightly larger, but now you can see the problem if I do this too large and go outside. See what happens. Definitely don't want that, so I'm going to lower this brush so that it stays nicely under the paint, and that would be my window. I think I'm okay with this. So I've gone a bit outside there, so I can just pick Might change to the liner, and the liner has a bit better eraser. There you go. All right, and that should be it. So let's check the whole image. There you go. See, that looks good. Right, and now I got to do all of them the same way, or what I could do is I could copy them, but I'm not 100% sure if they all will fit, because I know this one is smaller, this one is wider, this one doesn't have exactly the same shape as that one because we manipulated that with the drawing. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to paint all of them in this exactly the same way. Do the door too. I'm going to check the door for a minute. And pretty much indeed the same. The door gets the color, the inside gets the color, and the rest gets white. And then I need this, of course, to be black, but I might leave that. We'll see. I'm going to see what I'm going to do with that. Let's tackle that one now. Let's do that. So this, I'm going to get the same color as the frame. So my colors are now on top here the cream, the beige cream for the window, in this case now the door. I've got the window color itself, and I got the lighter color for those outer frames. So I'm going to the cream color, and what I'm going to do is, do I want the liner for this? I could go for a larger liner, that shouldn't be a problem. Paint this in really quick, since I'm going to do those window frames separately anyway, so I can determine where the window frame is and actually where the door stops. That doesn't really matter. See, that goes nice and quick. Let me move the canvas. All right, I think that's the door. Let me now change the size again, because I need this part too, and I obviously need this part. And now let me take the photo. Right, I don't need that part, that is all white. But I got my door now, and there's some variation in it. Let me blend this in a little. So that's good. I don't mind the variation. Let's see, I'm on top there a little bit. Good. All right. Now the black. I'm going to do this. Yeah. The photo is quite black, so I'm going to do actually bring in that black too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a layer on top of the windows. I'm on the wrong layer. See that? Now I got a slight problem. I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on the window layer, and I don't want to be on the window layer. Although for this door it doesn't matter, but I want to be on the window. I want to have the door frame. I could copy this, select this, cut this out. Let me show you how to do that. Get this selection tool here, select all of this, and now obviously say edit, cut. Now it should all be gone. I want to add a new layer for the door, or am I going to put that on the, I'm going to put that on the window frame, and I'm going to say, I'm going to tap somewhere so that the selection box is gone. I'm going to say paste, and there it is. I have a new layer, but I could merge this layer actually down. Let's see. Now that is going to call, I'm going to call this window frames, but the door is now included in the window frames. There you go. So now it's on the right layer, and on top of that I want a new layer, or I could paint this actually on the window frames, but if I want to find it back later, I'll better do a new layer. And this is the iron on the door. I'm guessing it's iron. There you go. And for that I'm going to get a black one, a really black one. Let's check. This is a black one like that, and this is a very black one, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go for this black one between the greens. And let me see. I'm going to lower my brush size till about, I think I want 8. and paint some of this black stuff in and see if I like that or not. Doing this kind of rough, as you can see, so that I keep some of the door shining through. All right, so I kind of like that. Now I'm hardly pressing so that I'm getting a slightly lighter tone. I may want to have that in there too. Oh, I think I'm fine with this. Let's do the second one. Now I'm pressing normally again. And this one. And now I'm pressing lightly to get some tones. Might do a bit harder there. All right, and that's it. I think I might do it there too. Let's see, I forgot a little bit there. All right, and I think that looks pretty decent. Okay, that's my metal, but I'm gonna go for a lighter color, but I'm not gonna repaint it. I'm just gonna change the opacity, and I like this a lot better. Yeah, that looks a lot better than that really black that just overpowers the rest. So I'm going to 67% around that for the opacity. All right, now the rest I'm gonna do the same. Now I'm gonna bring in the white, gonna bring in that color there, this frame there, the beige, and then the window color, but the rest will be pretty much the same. So I'm gonna speed this part up. Well, I have to paint it, so that's gonna take a while, but for you, it's gonna be sped up. And we're one step closer to the end by all that we've painted in now. I said in the previous episode that I thought I would do still 1 or 2 more, but I need 3 more. Now, not from now, including this one, I need 3 more, because now we still need to do the roof. But then there's one important thing we still need to do after that, and that is bring in highlights and the shadow, create this into a beautiful image. Not a uniform plain image, but take it a step further. So 2 more episodes after this one. Well, I'm going to end this one and I'll see you in the next episode.